All right, we are live. Welcome everyone. How's everybody doing? How you doing, Than? Dumb employee. Well, you said it, not
I,
me.
I'm just trying to make money and
Mhm.
no logic right now. That's it.
Trying to make money. You sound like Libiano. What are you talking about? It's what he said. Did you? There's a clip of it. Hold on.
Oh really?
Hang on. Yeah, I'll see if I can pull it up. It's he was complaining on TikTok at some point. He was going, "We need to stop going on these Christian pages and you need to stop going on these Christian pages because they're making all the money and we're not." And I was like, bro, what? Like that's he was. It's like they start debating on our platform so we make the money. I was like, oh boy, that's an interesting admission. I'll see if I can find that.
Yeah. All right. Well.
Yep. So, welcome everyone. A live call-in show. So Muslims, the link is in the live chat. So click on that. Come on in and show us where Muhammad is in the Bible. If you don't know, I just had a debate with the Orthodox Muslim Libiano, and he was supposed to show me where Muhammad is in the Bible, and he couldn't. He couldn't. Did Muslims keep saying that he did so well, and then I'm like, okay, where did he show me Muhammad's in the Bible? And they're dead silent. So yeah, I'll tell you here. Oh, I found it. Hold up, hang on.
Is the link in the chat for everybody?
I did. I dropped it in there. Yeah, it's pinned to the top.
I just haven't seen any Muslims in here yet. So
are 50%, if not more, rhetoric, movements, politics. Okay, that's how debates are.
Debates are not about facts, ladies and gentlemen. It's just about rhetoric, according to the Orthodox Muslim.
30% knowledge and substance. Yeah, you should never make a kafir money. You should never do that. All debates happen on these cross-linking platforms. I don't know why. Every time we debate on.
Libiano, the reason why it was on a Christian platform is because when you challenged me to debate you didn't do anything for like a year. I'm the one who had to set it up. I'm the one who had to get it organized when I was ready to. He didn't do anything. So he didn't even want to debate. He just wanted to thump his chest for his audience. But yeah, he didn't set anything up, no contact, nothing.
A cross-linking platform, paying cross-linking rent and paying their bills, and now they don't want to debate on my platform. I have the biggest platform on the app.
I know words. I have the best words.
Anybody who wants to have a formal debate happens on the Orthodox Muslim. Nobody else. It doesn't happen on no cross-linking platforms. This got to stop because you guys paid his bill. I don't have a personal problem with Darren. He's a kafir at the end of the day. It doesn't matter how nice he is. And today he bagged what? $800? $800. 800 flipping.
So that's, yeah. So yeah, it's about money and it's about rhetoric, apparently. Pretty lame. So,
fun stuff, man. Well,
all right. So what?
Before we get into this things, well, I don't know, because I want to present that big meta level argument. Do you care if I just run through the premises really quick for people, and then we can just bring them back, or how do you want to handle that?
Let's do that in a little bit. Let's talk about the Bible for a little bit here. But we'll bring our first guest in here in a minute, just so you guys know. Oh, I forgot. I'm gonna put this up. Show this tweet from Central Dawa. Hey, inspiring philosophy. You want to see where Surah 7:157 is fulfilled? Hit my line. I'll show you, little bro. All right, come Central Dawa. Come on by. The link's in the chat. Come on by. You're more than welcome to jump in here and show me. I'm not going to do a formal debate with you until you apologize to Apostate Prophet for threatening to unalive him. But if you want to come in, sure, yeah, you can show us here. But I'm not going to do a formal debate with you since you act like that, and we're not just going to let that kind of stuff slide. But yeah, he wanted to do that, and it's kind of funny. He's kind of admitting that Libiano didn't actually show me how Surah 7:157 is fulfilled in the Bible. So it's like these Muslims have these accidental ways of just admitting, their guys lose the debate. But yeah, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So let's bring in our first guest to see if they can show us where Muhammad is in the Bible. Let's see.
Hello.
How are you doing, sir?
Alhamdulillah. Thanks, God.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much. I was here last time, like a month ago.
Yeah, I remember. Your name looked familiar. So yeah. So you're a Muslim, correct?
True. Yes.
Yeah, cool. So where do you want to go to? We'll let you go anywhere in the Bible. Show us where Muhammad is in the Bible.
To be honest, I actually love this field, and that's why I've wrote a paper myself.
Cool.
And I can send it on the chat here. In reality, it's not with the claim; it's actually against the claim.
So you're arguing against that. Are you arguing against Muhammad being in the Bible?
I think if Muhammad's in the Bible, the Christians definitely took it out, or the Jews definitely took it out, and it's impossible to find him in the Bible.
Okay, so he's not in the Bible.
I think if he ever was in the Bible, like in Surah Safat, him saying that his name is mentioned and his name is Ahmed. I think that's definitely not in the canonized Bibles or something.
Really quick, for security reasons, I just don't want to click on any links.
Yeah, sure, it's okay, totally normal.
It's not that you don't seem like a trustworthy guy or anything, but I'm sure you know everything that's going on with the doxing and all that.
Yeah, sure, exactly.
So can you just tell me the name of the paper so I can find it?
I'm gonna send you the name of the paper.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate you understanding as well.
Cool. So here I got a question for you then. If I still think this is a problem for you as a Muslim, because if Muhammad's not in the Bible, then we have a problem, because the Quran says those who follow the messenger, the prophet who can neither read nor write, whom they find described in their Torah and gospel, which are with them. So it's in the Torah and gospel.
Yeah, I think with them, it's talking about those Arab Christians, those Arab Jews, and like with them, it's those Arab. And same thing about the Islamic dilemma. It's talking, if you read it in context, it's talking about those Christians in Medina, in Najran, in these places.
Okay, so for this, different Torah and gospel.
Yeah, for this to work, then you would have to say that the scriptures were intact at the time of Muhammad, and then got corrupted substantially later on.
To be honest, I don't know about that, but I am 100% sure, and this is what I believe, that the Jews and Christians around Muhammad and in 7th century Arabia were totally different from the different Jews and different Christians.
So they had different scriptures entirely then, right?
That's what I believe, and the evidence is that a lot of stuff you find in the Quran that contradicts with the Bible can actually be like proving that the Jews and Christians that lived like around Muhammad, they became Muslim because their scriptures aligned with the Quran.
All right, got a question for you. So let's so you're positing there was some mystery lost Torah, like that's different.
Yep.
So let's say I had a copy of it, and then I erased everything but like 1 or 2 lines, and I filled it in with what's in our Torah. Did I corrupt it?
Can you say that again?
So let's say I have this lost Torah that they had in Medina, and I erased large sections of it, and then I wrote in place what I have in our Torah. Did I corrupt it?
So we're talking about there's like this very fringe Torah, and then you replaced it and you filled it up with the true Torah. You're talking about that, right?
No. Let's leave true out of it for right now. I'm just saying, let's just say I had a copy of this lost Torah that you say was in Medina. Again, I erased large sections of it, and then I wrote in that manuscript what we find in our Torah in the Bible today. Did I then corrupt the Torah that was in Medina?
So I don't know what you mean about corrupt. You definitely changed it, but corrupt, I don't know. If you're fixing it, I'm not going to say you're corrupting it.
Okay, well, I changed it then, okay? So I definitely changed it. Okay, so here's my problem. We go to Surah 545, okay? This is a line we find. This is basically what we find in Exodus. The eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth.
Yep, exactly, yep.
So that means that this has to be in that lost Torah, but it also is in our Torah. So that means our Torah is a corrupted version of whatever that Torah was.
I'm not gonna judge like who's corrupted, but I'm just gonna say that because this verse exists in both Torahs, that means that this verse is definitely legit.
Okay, but that means the version of the Torah in our Bible, according to you and your worldview, we would have a corrupted Torah then, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then now you agree the Quran is not just talking to people living in the time of Muhammad. It's talking to all of mankind as it claims, right?
Some verses, yes, but most of the time when the word then and them is used in the Quran, not in the Hadith literature, talking about on the Day of Judgment, Jews gonna come and they're gonna like worship the Son of God, which is Ezra or something. Okay, I don't believe in like most Hadith and stuff. They're kind of
I got it. Hadith are fine. If there's a verse in the Quran that's qualified, like it's only for a certain people, then we can say that. If some verse in the Quran is unqualified, though, it'd be for all people, though, right? Like when it says to pray, that's unqualified.
Yeah,
that's
for all people for sure. Yes.
Got it. So right below this, it's unqualified as well in Surah 5:47. Let the people of the gospel judge by what Allah has revealed therein. If we go down even further to Surah 5:68,
in the middle of a war or something.
Well, I mean, it doesn't say for those people in the war, but even go down, oh, people of the scripture, you have nothing to stand on until you observe the Torah, the gospel, and what has been revealed to you from your Lord. See, Allah never qualifies this as a Torah. So distinguishing between a corrupt or an uncorrupt version. So if this is for all of mankind and would be all of the people of the book, he's telling us to observe the Torahs that we have, even if they've been corrupted.
You realize that this is like happening in a very special situation, right?
No, it doesn't say that.
Yeah, the Quran is like some problems with that it doesn't say that. But if you read it and you read it with the different sources like the Sirah history and Hadith literature, you find that this ayah, the nuzul, the sabab al-nuzul, the reason of it coming down is because there were Jews who needed to follow their Torah because that rule specifically that they're supposed to follow, which is I think about war or something or spoils or something, aligns with the
Sirah as authoritative.
No, to be honest, no.
Okay, then why did we bring it up? Like, why did you bring up the Sirah if you don't take it authoritative?
Because we're talking about the Quran and we want to answer the Quran as something. The closest thing we have is like Hadith and Sirah, so yeah.
All right, so but this doesn't actually say that. It just says it generally, so it's applying it unqualified. That means it's for all people. I mean, it
so
could be saying the same thing about praying.
Can I just ask when this happened? Why this happened?
I'm not entirely sure, but it's irrelevant because the Quran's for all mankind or all people.
Yeah, but the Quran has specific stories that are targeting specific individuals.
Okay, so if the Quran is clear and every verse is fully explained, where is that said in this passage?
Now, I haven't done like research on this, but I believe that. Well, can you repeat your question just so I can make sure?
If this is qualified for certain people because the Quran is clear, as it claims in Surah 12:1, and its verses are well perfected and then fully explained, that explanation you're giving me for this should be in the passage. Where is it?
Yeah, good point. It's not in the Quran, to be honest. It's not in the Quran. Okay. The Quran it's not that clear.
Okay, so I think you're a very honest person. Absolutely, yeah. You're definitely one of the more honest persons, honest people we've spoken to. But
thank you so much.
Now this is why, and I mean that entirely. I this is why I'm worried about you. We're here because we care about you. That's why we do these call-in streams, because we don't want you to be led down the wrong path. You just said the Quran is not clear, right?
Yep.
Why does the Quran claim to be clear then, though?
So, by being not clear, I think a general Muslim will come and tell you the result of the Quran is guidance, and it's clear by guiding people. But in this situation, it's kind of like you're reading a verse in the Bible and you come up with something like Samuel or Kings, and you're like, oh, this is supposed to like you understand what I'm talking about. This thing is only happening in the middle of a war or something, and they're talking about spoils and the law. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but the difference is that that's first of all, the Bible doesn't claim to be clear and fully explained, and
that's true. Yeah,
culturally, there's cultural context there. These are just descriptions. I mean, the Book of Kings is explaining the history of the kings.
Yeah.
When it comes
I
to the
think
Quran,
this verse is also explaining the history. To be honest.
Well, I mean, if I'm coming to this verse, Surah 568, okay, Allah is not talking to you. He's talking to me because I'm a person of the book.
Yeah, but they're not those. But you're not those people of the book.
Where does it qualify that?
Because this, again, I cannot give you like a straight up answer, like a clear answer that like what you want. But the people of the book mentioned here are the Arab people of the book in the time of Muhammad.
So the Quran is not for all people in all times. It's just for the Arab people at the time of Muhammad.
This verse is talking about those Arab Christians and Muslims.
Does it say that anywhere?
No, but you can understand it.
I mean, yeah, and I could also just say, if you can just insert meaning into the Quran, why can't I?
Good point.
Yeah, so this is a problem here. So if this is what the Quran is telling me to do as a Christian, it's to believe in what you would say are corrupt scriptures. Why would Allah do that?
Because that specific law aligns with the law of the Quran. Like for example, you had like the best verse, the example, an eye for eye and a tooth for a tooth. That exists in Islam and in Judaism. It's in Exodus, it's in Bible or Deuteronomy, I'm not sure. Because they're both agreeing on the same law, instead of Jews going and reading the Quran, which didn't exist in their time, God is telling them to go read their scriptures because they have the same law.
Okay. When he mentions that law, is he saying that's the only law you should follow? Because he presents that law earlier in the passage, and then he just goes on to just tell us, believe in the Torah. Notice he says in 568, observe the Torah, not that part of the Torah, that part of the gospel. He says, observe the Torah, the gospel, and what was revealed to you from your Lord. So it's like, hey, this is in your Torah, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, and you should observe whatever is in your Torah, whatever is in your gospel.
I think I need to see some Arabic translations for this.
I mean, are you in front of a computer?
Yeah, I can do it now.
Okay, I mean, you can look up the Arabic. I don't know if that's going to help.
Surah 545?
Surah 568 was the one I was just talking about.
68. This is my favorite surah. Okay. Yeah. I'm not that. I'm not a scholar to tell you like what it exactly means, but I still don't believe that he's talking about people of the book, meaning you or some guy in the 2nd century or something. It's those people in the time of Muhammad. This specific verse is talking about that.
It just sounds like, honestly, you can't even fathom the possibility that the Quran could be wrong and that maybe your worldview is incorrect.
Can you elaborate more on that?
You don't know the answer. You just read it, and it's not saying what you need it to say. Then what's happening is instead is the cognitive dissonance is setting in. You're going like, no, well, there's got to be some explanation because I know Islam is true. So any evidence anyone brings against me to show me Islam is false, it has to be wrong because I just have to keep assuming Islam is true.
Yep. The thing is, I'm not prepared. Like I don't know anything about this thing. I just heard it like a year ago.
A year ago? I mean, that's a lot of time to think about it. What have you been doing?
I heard it a year ago when I was like a super Orthodox Muslim.
You're not anymore.
I memorized like 10 juz of the Quran.
Do you have any evidence to believe in Islam? Like, what is the evidence that you believe in Islam?
The evidence of believing in Islam.
Yeah. Look, I'm a Christian. Okay. I believe in Christianity because there's a lot of evidence Jesus rose from the dead. Okay. You come along and say, no, there's a prophet came 600 years later. He delivered the real message. Why should I convert to Islam? What's the evidence you could give me?
I can't, like, it's just faith.
I would disagree. I believe that Jesus was crucified publicly, died publicly, buried in a public tomb, rose from the dead, leaving behind evidence, appeared to multiple people. That's historically verifiable by using basic historical criterion. So I can make a case for the truth of Christianity. I don't just say it's faith. Can you do that for Islam?
Some people could, but I personally, I can't.
Well,
do you want to believe things?
I think that most of like Islamic history and stuff is like manipulated, and we have no idea about Islam in the first century, what happened.
I mean, it sounds like you're just believing in Islam because you want it to be true, not because it's actually true. And if that's the case, your soul's at risk here because you're not actually following the truth. You're following what you want to be true.
I don't really care anything to be true. I just want to like research about like religion and stuff. It's cool.
Well, I'm going to pray for you, man, because if you don't care about truth, that is one of the scariest things I've heard people say. You should always care about truth, not...
Because I don't want to be like narrow-minded, like, oh, this is truth.
It sounds like you're being very narrow-minded, though, when I'm pointing out to you a problem in the Quran and you're just saying, well, no, there's got to be some answer.
I also think that posture is a little contradictory, don't you? Because...
The what?
That posture that you're having, because you're saying I don't want to be narrow-minded by saying this is the truth. That means that Mike and I are narrow-minded, but it also means that you're narrow-minded too, because your claim that it's narrow-minded to say that something is the truth is in of itself narrow-minded, because you're excluding everybody else. It's a good thing. It's a good thing, right? To hold to truth claims.
Will you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Will you go to the channel, the Inspiring Philosophy YouTube channel below, go to the playlist section, and then watch our series on the reliability of the Gospels, and let me know what you think?
Okay, great.
All right. I'm going to let you go. I don't want to keep heckling you too much. I do just want to give you stuff to talk about.
I just want to ask you a simple question.
Okay.
What do you understand historically, politically from this verse?
Which verse? 568?
Yep.
Muhammad, the Jews came to Muhammad to ask him to settle dispute, and then he started talking about the Torah, why it was good, why they should believe in it, why he was confirming it, and that Christians should believe in their scriptures. Pretty sure that's the historical background for this.
Do you agree that when God, like when this ayah, this verse came down, it's quoting and it's targeting these Jews that you just mentioned?
I do not think it is. I don't think, well, first, I don't think it came down. I don't think it's only targeting them. I think Allah, once again, the claim is that in Islam is that Allah is delivering revelations to Muhammad for all of mankind, not just the people that were hearing him talk. If that's the case, throughout the Quran, it's not useful today.
Revelation?
What?
Is this verse like talking about revelation?
It's talking about, it's talking about the prior scriptures, like the Torah, the gospel.
Do you consider that a revelation? Like, do you consider that like something new that, like a revelation, like a prophecy or something? Do you believe that this is something like that?
The verse in the Quran?
Because what I think about this verse is that it's just like, it's like the Muslims and the Jews are in a debate, and they're talking about spoils of war, and the Muslims came up like, hey, you guys gotta go read your own books, because your own books agree with what we're talking about.
Yeah.
About this specific situation in war and spoils and stuff, right?
Yeah, he's absolutely confirming the prior scriptures. You're absolutely right.
So that means that we're talking about those Arab Jews, those Arab Christians, those Arab Jewish Gospels and Bibles.
And we have no evidence that they had anything different than what we have as our scriptures today. All the evidence suggests that what Christians were using is the same Bible.
Evidence,
Yeah. So anyway, check out that series. I appreciate talking with you. We're going to get to the next guest though, but thanks for coming.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Right. All right. Let me get to some super chats and we'll bring in Mark, who is next. Thank you for becoming a member. Let's see here. Muhammad is in Matthew 7:15, 24:4-5, Mark 13:5-6. This is true. That's exactly where he is. Just finished the Didache. It was very intriguing. Look into the early church. Yeah, it also has a high Christology. It changes the liturgical formula, Hosanna to the Son of David, to Hosanna to the God of David, as scholars have pointed out. So it's saying Jesus is God. First century work. Who licks a cross? Projection much? Millions of Muslims lick a pagan stone. They must really be embarrassed in 2026. I know we don't lick crosses, but that's Libyano logic. What do you want? IP, prove me wrong. Muhammad is clearly in the Bible in Matthew 24:11. I can't. It's Muslims, Jews eat pork for transgressions. That's mean. All right, let's bring in Mark. How you doing today, Mark?
How's it going?
How's it going? Are you a Muslim?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. Can you show us where Muhammad is in the Bible?
I think he's all over the Bible.
Let's do one at a time. Let's go to one.
Yeah. Do you think he's in the Bible? No, right?
Not. I think he is, as this super chat says, he's in Matthew 7:15, 24:4-5, Mark 13:5-6.
So what do these scriptures say?
There's about false prophets that are gonna come.
Oh, yeah, maybe they think so. Maybe that's Paul. Maybe that's Paul. It's also possible it's Paul.
Let's give me a verse. Let's go find Muhammad in the Bible. I'll pull it.
Well, I really think Song of Solomon is talking about Prophet Muhammad.
Song of Solomon. Awesome.
Yeah.
So let me. I'm gonna put this up. I'll put the verse on the screen.
Yeah, you can.
5:16. Do you care if I start reading in verse 5 or verse 5:1? That is.
No, I know it's 5:16.
Right, you're gonna say it's 5. Okay, but would you say that this prior stuff is about him at all?
I'm not sure. You tell me. What's the whole context of the whole chapter 5 of Song of Solomon?
The whole context is the lover. So you have the bride and the lover. The bride
I know.
The bride is describing the lover.
Yeah. Is this revelation? Is this like from God? You think Song of Solomon from God?
We think it's inspired by God, is what we say in the church.
So, like, do you think, with all due respect, do you think God is revealing a big "I love you" poem? That's what's going on here.
It's definitely a poem. Yeah, it's a poem describing the love between a husband and wife, is what we say in the church.
Well, it's not really, but this is not. We know that this is not the definitive case for this. This has to be like something cryptic about it. There's a message. There's an allegory about this. Would you agree?
Why?
Well, because it's a message from God. It's a message from Allah. Allah is not going to send a message that stands the test of time, right, for thousands of years, to say I love you.
Can you just give us the argument?
Look, I mean,
you know the argument. The argument is it says Muhammadim, right? So Muhammadim here, Muhammadim.
So
5:16.
This is what's starting in the beginning, though. I think this is important. Hold on.
Okay, please.
It's talking about the lover of the bride. The bride is going to describe the lover, and it says that he drank wine with his milk. So whoever she's describing likes to drink wine. So she goes on. She's searching for her beloved. Yeah. Others come. They ask her about the beloved. She describes him. And the verse you're going down to is his mouth is most sweet. Now the Hebrew there is plural. He is altogether desirable. Now that word for desirable, let's just put the interlinear up here. That word is also in the plural. He is altogether desirable.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
In the plural. Now, this word prior to it is wikulo. That is not the word you would put in front of a prior name. Basically, this verse is saying, if I was going to read this as literally as possible, his mouth is most sweets, plural. He is, or in each of him, or him altogether, is desirables. It's plural. So
desirables or lovelies. Or lovelies, right?
Yeah. So how is that about Muhammad?
Well, because in the original language, of the Hebrew, it sounds like Muhammadim, Muhammad-im, right?
You know,
And
is ended on words to make them plural. So there's multiple Muhammads.
we know that it's either plural or it's a form of respect or majesty, like Elohim. There's multiple, right?
Where in the
There's
Bible,
multiple gods.
Where in the Bible is im added to names to show respect?
Well, apparently here, Muhammadim.
No, that's circular. That's circular. The
Why
plural
would
of
it be
majesty is
circular,
the
though?
plural of majesty is in the first person. First of all, right? You're saying we.
We have already agreed or not agreed, but I said at the beginning of this that this poem is a cryptic message, or there is some messaging behind this.
I
It's trying to
understand that's what
explain
you
something.
think.
Well, that's it's not only what I think. It's this is what how God seems to be dealing with prophecies throughout the Bible. Sometimes they're direct, sometimes they're not that direct. Okay, and also I'm trying to use my mind here. I'm not trying to. I'm trying to find more reason and more purpose for some text. Okay, if we are gonna claim that this is from God, now it says he is white and ruddy, and Prophet Muhammad is white and ruddy.
And
It
no one else
says,
in history has been white or ruddy.
of course not. This is this what I'm saying? I'm
Well,
not
I
saying
mean,
this.
the poem says over and over again, the lover is Solomon. So it says that in places like verse 1:1, 3:7, 3:9, 3:11, 8:11. So why is this not just describing Solomon?
It's not describing Solomon.
Why?
It because this is a revelation to Solomon.
No.
Revelation to Solomon, or for Solomon, a song that God is giving to Solomon.
So
This
why
is- this
can't
is
the
what-
bride just be describing Solomon then?
Well, it could be describing David. It could be describing somebody else. It could be describing anybody. Same thing
Okay.
as white and ruddy.
So if it's
I'm saying. Sorry, please continue.
Yeah, so if it's describing Muhammad, what specifically in here? Well, first of all, where does the bride ever say she is predicting the future? She just says she's describing her lover. How do you know this is even a prophecy?
You don't know. It acts as a prophecy when you try to decrypt it. You always look for clues within the Bible.
Okay, so what are the clues that show this is a prophecy?
Okay, so for me, it's talking about a lover. So I want to know, who is this lover?
Solomon.
You are saying Solomon. I'm saying Prophet Muhammad. So now
Okay.
we're gonna have to decrypt it. Okay.
Wait. What you just said presupposes that there is something to decrypt.
Yes, I am presupposing there's something to decrypt. Are you saying
So
there's
the
nothing
only
to
way this
decrypt?
argument works is if you assume this is a prophecy of Muhammad.
I'm not assuming it's a prophecy from Muhammad. I'm assuming it's a prophecy, and I'm looking for Prophet Muhammad in here. You're asking, is Prophet Muhammad in the Bible? I will show if he's in the Bible or not.
Okay.
That's as simple as that.
Now, again, you still haven't answered our original question, though. When it comes to
What
this
is
word
it?
Makmadim,
Yes.
where are names made plural out of respect? You can't just say here because this is what's in question. Can you show us a place in the Bible where that happens? Like, is Solomon Eam a thing? Does anyone call David Eam? Because Elohim is not a name, first of all, and Elohim is a concretized abstract plural. No one thinks it's a plural of respect.
Well, the way, even in our religion, when we talk, there is a plural for respect.
But
And this
we're
is
talking about
supposed to be a
Hebrew.
Semitic language. Is
talking about
Hebrew not a Semitic language? It's a
And
Semitic language.
there's no plural of respect for names in Hebrew. You need to actually show that, because we can go through the Bible page after page. No names are made plural out of respect.
Okay, and I said this is because this is not supposed to be a straightforward name, right? Right, Mike. This is not a straightforward name. This is as you and who you were debating yesterday. I forgot his name. Libiano. Both of you were, both of you were talking yesterday, and you guys were talking about the like a prophecy can be phonetic and or can just come with sound. I'm coming here. I'm saying it's more than just sounds. It's sound, and there is a little bit of context or some description. That's all I'm saying. I think white and ruddy. It's talking about him. I think Kogorev which is his hair is black like a raven, a crow. This raven or crow, black hair, wavy black hair. This also fits his description. And also, crow and Arab have the same root meaning in Hebrew. So there is a little bit of a clue here, all the way all the way down till we reach the name Muhammadim, which also has the same root as Muhammad. So there is a clue, and if you want to decrypt this, you will find Prophet Muhammad here in Song of Solomon, and this is
So
like an intro.
It
This
sounds
is
like
one-
like if you start with Islamic theology and you read the text, you can make it fit. From the text alone, where does it predict Muhammad? Because
of course
in
I have to
Hebrew-
start.
hold up. In Hebrew, if you wanted to say he is Jake, he is Than,
Yes,
you wouldn't
yes.
use this word in the middle. That's not how you would say that. So I can show you what it looks like in Hebrew. He is Lord our God. It says he is Yahweh.
Yes.
So
yes,
the
yes,
is not in
understand.
there. That's how you would say it. So it's not giving a proper name there in Song of Solomon. It's not saying his name
It's
is
not
Muhammad.
just exactly. It's not properly saying he's an Arab. It's not properly saying anything. It's being decrypted. But I want to also just address the little thing you said here, that I'm starting with Islamic theology in mind. Of course I would. Of course I would. We are only here because we're talking about Islam. So, for example, and I don't mean to make fun or any of that. You said yesterday Matthew is circular. Matthew is circular or something like that, right?
What did I say? What did I say?
When you
Did-
were talking to the piano, you said Matthew was circular, okay, and maybe
That's
you
not
were
what
a
Mike
little,
said.
no.
That is
maybe
not
you,
what Mike
maybe you
said.
rushed.
Wait a
Maybe
minute.
you
You got to
rushed.
explain the context. What are you talking about? Like, what was the context of that?
You know the context more than anybody. You can tell me.
Yeah. The context was he was saying, can I just take Islamic theology and read it into the text? And I go, yeah, that's just circular though. And then he goes, well, he starts talking about
Is
Matthew.
Matthew circular?
Like, as
Yeah.
if you started doing that with Matthew, the Gospel of Matthew, that would also be circular. That was
Exactly.
my point. So
Yeah,
that's
no,
not
and that's my
saying
point
that.
right now.
Hold up. That's not saying that's what we do as Christians. We're not saying that's what we're supposed to do with the Gospel of Matthew. We're saying if we did that, that would also be circular. So do you see
Mike-
how he?
And he's not saying
hold up.
Matthew was circular either
Do
when
you-
Matthew was writing his gospel.
When the author, yeah, it's talking about the Gospel. So do you see how Libiano lied to you?
Look, I don't know Libiano personally. I don't think he's lying to me. I don't.
No, he is. We can tell you
Mark,
for a fact that he's
Mark,
lying to you.
We just explained to you how he lied to you. And the first thing you say is, I don't think he's lying to me.
How is he lying to me? This is a conversation between both of you. This has nothing to do with me.
Mark, it's because I just explained to you the context. And so I didn't say that Matthew, the author, was circular. Do you see the problem?
Okay, I understand. Maybe it was wrong of me to bring this
Then-
up. I don't want to. No, I don't accept this. I don't
He
want to come.
definitely lied to you.
Listen. I don't want to come in as offensive. Let me just continue.
Well,
What I'm
that's
trying to
better than
say
him.
is,
I'll give you that. You're much better than he is. You're a much better person than Libiano is.
what I'm trying to say is, Mike, that of the reason I am here talking to you is because I am presupposing my religion and my prophet, and I'm trying to prove something. So of course I'm gonna. And there is a statement from the Quran that says the prophet is found. It doesn't say it's straightforward found in the Bible by name. Yes. What's your name? What's your name?
My name is Than. Than.
Yes, Than.
Can you just, because you said I'm coming to you, I'm presupposing is my religion, and I want to convince you of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So imagine, for example, I come up to you and pretend I'm not a Christian, okay?
Mhm.
Pretend I'm not a Christian, and I come up to you and I say, Mark, I want to convince you of this new religion that you've never heard of before. We have this prophet, and his name is Steve, and I have this book called The Diary, okay? And I say, the diary actually tells me that the Quran prophesies our prophet Steve. And then I tell you, and you're gonna ask me what the evidence is for this, and I'm gonna go, well, in the diary it says things like this. Say, O Steve, O people of the Quran, you have nothing to stand on unless you observe the Quran and what has been revealed to you from Muhammad, and Muhammad's revelation to you will only cause many of them to increase in wickedness and disbeliefs who do not grieve like the people that disbelieve. Another passage from the diary. So let the people of the Quran judge by what God has revealed in it, and those who did not judge by what God has revealed are truly rebellious. Or another one. Then in the footsteps of the prophets, we sent Steve, confirming the Quran revealed before him, and we gave to him the diary containing guidance and light, confirming what was revealed.
You're
you
talking
get the
about
point, right?
chapter 5, verse 68.
Hold on. I say all of these things, and then I go, and then I point to a bunch of obscure passages in the Quran, and I say we have to forensically look at all these passages to decrypt these hidden messages in the Quran.
Okay.
What is your response to me?
Well, first of all, the diary of Steve, I would ask, is the diary of and it's not possible, is the diary of Steve is part of the Abrahamic family of our religion? Because I really think the intertextuality and the history between the Quran and
there's actually passages.
Right?
There's other passages in the diary that talks about Moses and all this other stuff. Just imagine the Quran. It's mirrored. It's just the language is shifted now.
And where is it coming from? Is it coming from the Middle East as well? Is it coming from around the same time?
It's an Arabic. It's an Arabic guy named Steve.
Yeah.
Okay, Arabic guy called Steve. I would give it a look, right? But I would ask, did Steve make miracles? Does Steve have this much following?
Yeah, Steve actually
has 2 billion followers.
Performed miracles.
And
he
growing?
Performed miracles.
Wait a minute. You said 2 billion followers. Did Muhammad have 2 billion followers in the 7th century?
No. And this is the biggest miracle. You have that today.
Well,
you're talking about Steve today.
Hold on.
You're talking about Steve today.
Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because we want to compare Muhammad to Steve here, right? So Muhammad performed miracles, and he actually made some prophecies that did come about. Are you gonna accept Steve?
I am a Muslim. The last prophet is Prophet Muhammad. It just doesn't work.
All right, exactly. You do not accept Steve because Steve does not stand in prophetic continuity with Muhammad, right?
No, you have to define prophetic continuity. What is your prophetic continuity as a Christian then?
Well, we can just define it very minimally, right? Which is just doesn't contradict the prior prophetic revelations.
Right. So if something
that's your big thing, right? That was your big thing, right? Islam teaches that Muhammad is the last prophet. So Steve cannot be. So Steve, because there's a contradiction between Steve being the next prophet and Muhammad being the last prophet, Steve could not be another prophet.
Yeah, but there's a small problem here, Mike and Tham. In your tradition and in Christianity, that doesn't say that Jesus is the. Besides, we can disagree. Right now, we know that for me, Jesus is a prophet, and for you, is God and prophet and all these things.
This does not save you. This does not save your problem right now.
1 second. I have no problem. Just 1 second. In your tradition, you have a Messiah. You have not only a Messiah, a messenger coming. There's always somebody coming next after the prophet Jesus. To save the worshippers and the servants of God. This is in your tradition.
Where?
No, when Jesus, peace and blessings be upon him, he said Mark, that when I leave,
how does this get you out of the problem?
Yeah, this doesn't get you out of the problem, man.
How does it not get me out of it? I have no problem. The problem is you're telling me.
No, you do. Look. I just pointed. I just gave you a scenario that pulled out a very important premise for you, right? You're not going to accept a prophet unless he is consistent with the prophetic theological, covenantal identity that precedes him that he claims to have come from, right?
Yeah, but I don't. You haven't pointed out how Prophet Muhammad breaks the prophetic tradition. You haven't pointed that out.
Let Tham finish. Let Tham finish.
Yeah. So. Does the Quran contradict the covenantal identity of the Bible?
I don't see how. How does it contradict?
Well, do you believe Jesus was crucified?
No, I don't.
Okay, there it contradicts. The Bible says Jesus was crucified.
Do you believe prophets can commit major sins?
No, I don't.
Okay, well,
Okay.
they do in the Bible.
There's a contradiction.
Yeah, these are not besides the crucifixion. These are not beliefs that I need to believe in. This is not like the core message of the Bible that I believe that a prophet slept with his daughter.
Prophets committing major sins is a core message of the Bible.
Yeah, it has
That is a
Abraham,
huge theme.
Moses, David, Solomon.
We have in our tradition that the prophets did some mistakes. No problem. Only Jesus did not do mistakes. That's it. We have in that tradition.
Let's get back to Song of Solomon. You said you're reading your Islamic theology into the text. Fine. How is that supposed to prove to anyone else other than you Muhammad is in here if you said you are assuming Islam to prove Islam?
I only showed the signs. It's up to a person and their consciousness. But this is the intro. This is the ABCD.
No.
There's other.
You have to show it. You've conceded this whole section because Muhammad is not in here. You have to read him in there. If you have to read him in there, you have to read him in there using Islam. Muhammad is not in here. Period. End of story.
Prophecy. Give me. Hello. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a prophecy that you believe in, that is straightforward, that you cannot read what you believe in into it.
Zechariah 9:9. The Messiah will ride a donkey into Jerusalem.
Okay. So tell me how does this? How many people are riding donkeys in Jerusalem? Plenty, right?
A lot, yeah, but it still happened under Jesus. This doesn't change anything, though.
How many Jesus?
Still reading. Answer the question. How is Muhammad in this passage?
I'm just showing you something. How many people are called Jesus back then in Jerusalem? So you're reading. No, I'm showing. No, we're trying to be honest here. I'm showing you the same thing.
Mark,
here you can see.
Mark,
you can see
the difference is the Mark. The difference is I'm not using these to argue for the proof of Jesus. We use the resurrection argument. You're using this to argue for the truth of Islam. So can you do that without reading Islam into the text?
I'm not using this to argue the truth of Islam. There's other ways to argue the truth of Islam. I'm using this to show you that Prophet Muhammad is inside the Bible, and this is only one. This is only one of them.
If you're not doing this to argue for the truth of Islam, then why are you here?
No. Let's be selective. The truth of Islam. There is a million ways to argue the truth of Islam. We are here to talk about Prophet Muhammad in the Bible. This is only a small part. Okay,
so you're acknowledging you cannot find Muhammad in the Bible unless you assume Islam is true and then read him in there.
I'm not conceding that. I'm teaching, and I'm showing what I believe through the Bible, and you are free.
You just said that's what you're doing. You're taking Islam and you're reading it into the scriptures.
Of course I am.
You just said
I'm going to take Christianity and say Muhammad cannot be in the scriptures.
Okay.
Where does that leave us?
No, this is your belief and your opinion. What I'm trying to say. Okay, Mike, 1 second.
Wait. I just want to address something with Mike. Hold on. No. I don't think you understand. I don't think you understand what's happening here.
Honestly, I think
you are saying I believe Islam, and I'm going to show you where I believe Muhammad is in your scriptures. Okay. Yeah. I'm just mirroring exactly the logic that you are using and saying, I am a Christian and I believe Muhammad is not in the scriptures. We have to find what you need to do is find a way to argue for this without assuming Islam is true. Like a chain of reasoning that does not begin with Islam is true.
I'm not beginning with Islam is true. I'm beginning with the name Muhammad. Okay, just let me finish, please. The name Muhammad, that's what I'm assuming, Mr. Mike. I'm assuming Muhammad is in the text. That's what I'm assuming. Just simple as that. That's simple. I'm looking at a character, Lord of the Rings. And this character from Lord of the Rings has 1, 2, 3, 4 description. And then I'm getting your text. I'm saying, hey, look, this guy from Lord of the Rings is over there in your text. That's all I'm doing.
Okay. So here's let me adjust my Steve example then, okay?
No. We're not going to do this again. Okay. Notice what you just did. You started with an assumption. You picked a movie as an example, and then you went and found the description in the text. You should be able to find the description and go, wow, this looks like some description of a future prophet. I wonder where he is. And then you go to the major religions and find it. If you start with Islam and then go through the text and try to make something fit by cherry picking things out, you're not finding Muhammad in the text. You're putting Muhammad in the text. See the difference?
So can you read the word all lovely in Hebrew, please?
We kulo Mahmadim.
Okay, Mahmadim. Okay, Mahmad. They don't have the ha in Hebrew. They have the kha. Mahmad. How would you say Muhammad in Hebrew, please? Please enlighten me. Because I don't know Arabic.
I don't know. That's
okay, I will tell
you.
Here. Mahmad. Mahmad. No. That's all I have to say.
Mahmad is not a name, and this is plural. So if you're saying that, there are multiple Muhammads. So you just committed a great sin. You've committed blasphemy in Islam by believing there's multiple final messengers.
Well, no, please, let's not. Come on, okay, you're a respectful person. Let's not do this.
It's plural. It's
no,
a plural
Mahmadim. What? Okay, are you gonna? We believe that Prophet Muhammad is the most superior messenger. You think we're not gonna put a majesty suffix at the end of his name?
There is no majesty of plural on names in Hebrew.
I understand. I'm not saying it's directly Prophet Muhammad. I'm saying the name, the sound, Mahmad, Im. So Muhammad is encrypted within the text, just like the word Arab. That's what I'm saying. If you want to leave this,
let's go to the word Arab. Okay, let's go up here. I want to show you the word Arab. Yeah, let's go to the word Arab. Yeah. So it's the word for raven, right? Doesn't it say he's black like a raven? So if the word
there,
so look, black as a raven. So if this actually means Arab, it means he's not an Arab. He's black as an Arab, right? That means he's not an Arab.
Black as a raven. Here, it's black as a raven, a crow. But then when you go and you want to decrypt it, you take raven, korev, and then you take the root of it, you'll find Arab. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Not an Arab. He's just like an Arab.
Maybe he is just like an Arab.
Yeah, that means it's not Muhammad then, because Muhammad was an Arab.
Actually, you know what? Muhammad is from Arab al-Musta'riba, which means Arabs who are Arabized. Because there is, by the way, original Arabs and Arabs that became Arabs. Prophet Muhammad is an Arabized.
Muhammad's not an Arab now. Great. Okay. Thanks.
He's an Arab.
Man. Now Muhammad's not an Arab. There's multiple Muhammads. This is cryptic. I'm done, man.
I'm going to change my Steve example to the name Salih, because that's a name that shows up in the Quran. And I'm just going to point to 773, 775, 777, and all that stuff.
Where do you find manuscripts of the Bible to read, and what type of degree do you recommend for someone looking for their master's degree with theology? You find manuscripts online. You can find the Great Isaiah School for online. Codex Sinaiticus is, for example, another good one. You can get a book like, I got it here. This is going to be some helpful stuff you could use. It has like the Greek, for example, of the manuscripts. So maybe check that out. Where is M from? Name can't find the biblical word. What? Says in reference to the last guest. Sounds like Muhammad is a phonetic fallacy or a phonic fallacy. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Plural majesty didn't exist till the 1000s. Yeah, I've heard people say that before. Yeah, I've not been able to track it down. Is there a way we can address Matthew's prophecy being circular reasoning?
We did yesterday.
By pointing out he's not actually doing that. He's doing he's doing basically typology. He's saying Jesus is fulfilling this through a pattern. He's not then saying, because the Old Testament said this, and because we read Jesus into that, we can now use that to prove Christianity. So that's what's going on. It's just typology. If you're not using it the way Muslims are, it's not circular reasoning. Matthew wasn't.
What Matthew is doing, again, is he's taking the historical life of Jesus and then looking back into the Old Testament, looking at the patterns of the narratives of how Yahweh has interacted with the Israelite religion in the past, and then going, hey, Jesus fits this pattern extremely well, and then makes the argument through there.
God wouldn't give a message about love. Have you heard about the crucifixion in the gospel? The single greatest act of love. Powerful. All right, let's bring in this guy. Is Defender, are you there? Hello? If you're trying to say something, we can't hear you at all. So.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike. How's it going?
Hey. Good. Are you a Muslim?
No, actually, I'm just a viewer. I just have an inquiry, though.
Well,
I just like to...
talking to Muslims right now, not Muhammad.
No, I'm actually an agnostic. I'd just like to tell you, Than is kind of embarrassing you. You should kick him out.
You're right.
Oh, thanks.
Okay. Thanks for coming, man.
I wanted to know why he thought that.
I don't know. Skeptic Believer, are you there?
Yeah. Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Are you a Muslim?
Yes, I am.
All right. Can you show us where Muhammad is in the Bible?
Great. Thanks. I think I'll just stick with one. It's okay if you don't agree with me. I'll just tell you. I think I see it in Deuteronomy 18.
Oh, let's go there. One second. So you're talking about the one, the prophet,
where it says, "I will raise up." It's verse 18. I will raise, and I'm reading from Revised Standard Version. It is, "I will raise up from them a prophet like you from among their brethren, and I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak to them all that I command him."
So you think this one here. So let me just, I raise a prophet like you from among their brothers. This is about Muhammad. Yeah. What makes you think this is about Muhammad here?
I mean, that is what in the Quran it claims that this is exactly what the prophet is doing. He is speaking the words that God has sent him.
What does the phrase though, their brothers, mean in the Hebrew,
That's
specifically in Deuteronomy?
You're right. That's a very good question. And I did think about that. And I know you might say this only applies to Israelites. But in reality, the word brethren has been used for people who are not just the 12 tribes of Israel. It has been used for others, like, for example, descendants of Esau, Jacob's brother.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I believe it's Deuteronomy 23. I'll have to check the verse. I think it's 23:7.
The thing, though, that is that in those verses, it's always qualified. When the phrase is unqualified, like it is here, does it ever refer to non-Israelites? Like, let me give you an example. Okay. I'm going to go to Deuteronomy 3, and I'm going to go to verse 18 to 20.
Okay. Yeah, maybe
and I commanded you at the time, saying, "The Lord your God has given you this land to possess. All your men of valor shall cross over before your brothers, aka the people of Israel. Only your wives, your little ones, and your livestock shall remain in the cities that I have given you, until the Lord gives rest to your brothers as to you, and they occupy the land that the Lord your God gives them." So here we say Israel is being spoken to by God, and he says your brothers as referring to Israelites. Very similar to what we find in Deuteronomy 18:18.
But that's the real question, is that, do you think that word brethren is always applicable to the fact that this is for Israelites, that is the descendants of Isaac, basically? If we just go one lineage before, before that, Abraham, it would apply to that. It would apply then to the brethren from Ishmael's side as also. So
where is Ishmael called a brother in Deuteronomy?
He is a brother of Isaac, right?
Yeah, but these are the people of Jacob. Ishmael would be a uncle then.
So this is what I'm saying. If when the word brethren has been used for, say, what was the verses Deuteronomy 20? Sorry, let me just go back to that. Esau, descendants of Esau, for example, it has been used for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
The word brethren.
When it's qualified, yep.
So can you clarify what you mean by qualified? And let me just open Deuteronomy 27 also, just to make sure that and what you mean. Because I think what you mean by that is the context, I assume, right? You mean we need to look at the context to see what it and that would define like if the word brethren should be used in the same way or not. Which is I'm okay with that. That's fine. We should look
show
at
you. It's in Deuteronomy chapter 2. So
Okay.
Deuteronomy chapter 2 calls them. Let me see, what verse is it? I had it.
Yeah, I'll open that from my side so that way we can actually.
Yeah. So Deuteronomy 4, we start there.
Deuteronomy 4.
Your brothers, the people of Esau. So you can see this is qualified, and that would make sense because Jacob and Esau were brothers.
Could you tell me the exact verse in Deuteronomy 4? I just want to check it from my side. Also,
Deuteronomy 2 verse 4.
Okay, just give me 1 second. Let me just.
But Ishmael was not a brother of. He was not a brother of Jacob, which is the problem.
Okay, you're right. And command will you're about to pass through the territory of your brethren, the sons of Esau.
Yeah, they're the only group in Deuteronomy that are called the brothers of Israel. Every other time the phrase "your brothers" shows up, like let me give you another one. Let's go to just Deuteronomy 17:15. This one is very important because it excludes foreigners. So it says, "You may indeed set a king over you, whom the Lord your God will choose. One from among your brothers you shall set as king over you. You may not put a foreigner over you who is not your brother." So right here, right before the chapter of Deuteronomy 18, we see foreigners are not brothers.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think, I guess this is where we just have to agree on the fact, or I could disagree that personally, I would say that if we just look at it from the fact that they are technically brothers, yes, you're right. This word has not been used to define Ishmael or his descendants in Old Testament, but I would say, don't you think that this could be applied to other things that we have? We could look into the Bible and say, while this word has not been used for these people, from the context, we can say that it is. Like, for example, there is a lot of prophecies about Jesus, which would actually not apply to Jesus right away because those were fulfilled at that time. Like, for example, even the prophecy about the virgin birth, that was. Yeah, this is an example of it. I'm not trying to go against any of those.
We understand those are typological. Okay, that's very different than you saying this has to be Muhammad. If all you're saying is, I'm just going to start with Islam, read Islam in the text.
Sorry, just let me just pause here. Just I want to interrupt one thing because you said I'm trying to say this has to be Muhammad. So, I'm not saying that this because actually in some translation it doesn't even say one prophet. In some translation it says prophets. So I'm not saying it has to be. I'm saying that this can apply to the prophet Muhammad also. That's it. I'm not saying this has to be only prophet because again, it can translate to prophet. So there could be multiple prophets this could be applied to. So that's it.
Yeah, but they have to be Israelites is the point. And even verse 15 makes that explicit. A prophet like me from among you, from your brothers. So this whatever the prophets are, they have to be Israelites.
Yeah, I read it. I know. It's the main. I knew that the main issue would be the word brethren here,
and also before that comes up, sometimes Muslims like to say that was added in after Islam. This is false. It shows up in.
No, I'm not going to do that. No. Okay. I'm just going to read whatever it is about RSV, NIV, whatever. I'll just go with that. I'm not going to try to go with that. I'll stick with what it says in the current version that I have available. I'm not going to try.
Then this entire section excludes Muhammad because he was not an Israelite.
Yeah, so I guess like I said, we could disagree on that because and that's it. I mean, I guess that's okay. I mean, if you disagree, that's fine. When I read it, I don't think just because of one lineage, it should exclude those brethren that are from just like not coming from Isaac, but rather coming from Abraham. That's it. So, I mean, because like I said, like even for the prophecy of the virgin birth, that was actually fulfilled right away from a king. I believe it is in Old Testament that was fulfilled, but it is actually then later applied to Jesus also. That's really how we read a lot of prophecies about even Isaiah, like many of them apply to the Jewish people, but of course when they have a second meaning.
Listen, if you want to do typology, fine, but that's assuming Islam and then reading Islam into the text. I'm fine with that.
Can you clarify this? Can you clarify what you mean?
You're basically saying you're starting with Islamic theology, then you're finding passages that fit with what you want it to say. So you cannot find Muhammad in the Bible to argue for the truth of Islam. You start with the truth of Islam, then find passages to make it fit. So there's a difference.
Okay, that's a good point. You're right. So would you say that the same would be also true when we try to apply prophecies to Jesus?
If you're doing typology, yeah. And then if you try to use that to argue for the truth of Christianity, that would be circular. Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. So, okay, you're right. Okay, that's good. So then let's say if we can't use this as an argument for the truth of Islam, so you're right. Yeah, we can't use this as an argument to prove Islam is true and also use the fact that Islam is true to prove this other way. Yeah, you're right. It would be circular. I agree with you completely. So, yeah. So then the main thing is then we would just have to find another way to prove Christianity or Islam.
Yep. And Christians have the resurrection argument.
Which I would say we don't. Anyways, that's a separate. If you want to have a discussion, I'm happy to do this, but I don't know. I don't want to take another person's slot here. So it's up to you.
Yep. We'll appreciate you coming. Thanks for coming. We'll talk to you when you want to come back another time. Thank you.
All right. Well, when you have the resolution, one, I will definitely come back and talk about that. Thanks a lot, and have a nice day.
Thank you. All right. Let's bring up our next guest here. Well, if it isn't DC Dawa, how you doing, man?
What's going on, man?
It's great, man. Of course. I was like, I'm happy I got put. Did I get pushed up the queue? Did you give me special treatment, or was I
next in line? You were just next in line.
Yeah, you were just next in line.
Next in line. All right, that's great to hear. So, how are you guys?
Doing good.
Good, man.
All right, man. Well, I'll be honest. I don't debate and kind of argue over this stuff, but I did want to ask a question. Like, genuinely, sure. I don't know if you've ever. I know you watch some of my stuff for sure, but there was one thing where I did strongly believe that I think if there is any evidence for, I don't even want to use the word evidence, but if there is a case where I'm like, you know what, if I read the Old Testament, this made a lot of sense to me. That was Isaiah 42. But then I did want to look at the other side. So I did see videos from Christians who would address the opposite side, and lo and behold, of course, your video would come up. So I just have a question from, I guess, a consistency standpoint. I'm just trying to understand where if you are to interpret Isaiah 42 in a specific way, while a Muslim would look at it in a different way. I just felt when I heard your explanation for how Isaiah 42 was interpreted, specifically when we're talking about the servant, right? I think that's where my main question is. And honestly, like I'm not looking for, I'm not trying to prove my position in this call or anything. I'm just trying to understand how you would interpret it, and I guess just go from there.
Yeah, I lean towards a typological sense, but what's the specific question you have about my interpretation?
Yeah, so for example, you were responding to a video on Isaiah 42 where the servant that was being referred to in Isaiah 42 was being linked to the Prophet Muhammad, right? The servant, who I behold, and he will. I can't remember the verses exactly, but he will not fail or falter, and then let the settlements of Kedar rejoice. All of that, right? So in your short or video, you did mention that this would be referring to the children of Israel, per looking at the context and looking at Isaiah 2, basically, or second Isaiah, or Isaiah 2 or second Isaiah, whatever, however you call it. Looking at that and fitting that context in, it should be the children of Israel, correct? Is that?
Yeah. So in this book, this is John Goldingay, David Payne, their commentary on Isaiah. They say on page 212, the context has made explicit who the servant is. See 41, 8-9. It is Jacob Israel.
Okay. Oh, it's Jacob Israel, not Israel. I see. Sorry, because Israel is Jacob from that perspective. So that's how. Okay, so Isaiah 40, 41, 42, 43, 44 onwards would be Jacob Israel.
Yeah.
But then also,
what we specifically say is that the way the second Isaiah begins is talking about the servant. It says is Israel. It explicitly identifies it in chapter 41. And then you get to chapter 49. And again, Isaiah 49:3 identifies the servant as Israel again. And then he says, I have called my servant to bring back a remnant, I've my servant will bring back Jacob to me, or bring back Israel to me. So what commentators have said is that it starts to then hone in. The servant is Israel, and then the more you go through the servant songs, the servant starts to hone in and becomes a representative of Israel. So what I have said is that in these early chapters, it's Israel. In the later chapters, it could still be Israel, or it could just be a representative of Israel now, like a remnant or a person.
Okay.
By the way, DC, if you want just like a non-Christian scholar who's talking about this stuff, even Daniel Boyarin is a Jewish scholar. He has a book called The Jewish Gospels, and he actually specifically talks about the suffering servant motif throughout Isaiah and how it's not like a Christian invention. This was actually a really attested view in the Midrash of the Second Temple period.
Okay, yeah, and I'll take a look at that as well. So, I would take it what you defined to what you explained to me would obviously be the Christian position. When we're talking about the rabbinical position, what would, from your knowledge, what would Jewish rabbis interpret Isaiah 2 as, and is there a difference in interpretation? Because from what I tried looking at from both sides, right, it wasn't as I felt like I found rabbinical literature, Jewish interpretations that could also, let's just say otherwise. So for example, Isaiah 42 may not specifically only be referring to Jacob, but there could be, it could be Cyrus, for example. That's the Jewish interpretation I'm saying, right? And again, not a
that is one,
uniform, not a uniform Jewish interpretation, but it's not wrong if someone goes in that direction. Let's put it that way. It's not someone fabricating. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, this is going to be a little weird, because when you're going to appeal to rabbinic literature, you have to figure out when this rabbinic piece of literature is attested to and who's talking about it, because there's a massive there is a big shift in how the Old Testament is interpreted in the rabbinic and on the onset of the rabbinic period post temple destruction. We have a video that's being edited right now where I talk about this a little bit, but nonetheless, you do have rabbinic attestation for this reading still. So you have Rabbi Yosei, I can't say these names, sorry, Rabbi Yosei Hagale, and he says, "Go forth and learn the praise of the King Messiah and the reward of the righteous from the first Adam. For he was only commanded one thou shalt not commandment, and he violated, behold, many deaths." I'm going to keep reading until we get to the important part, sorry. "And the King Messiah fasts and suffers for the sinners, as it says, and he is made sick for our sins. Ever more so and more he will be triumphant for all the generations, as it says, and the Lord visited upon him the sin of all."
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I heard that, but I guess how does that tie into my question?
Well, you're asking about how like rabbinic literature would have like seen this, and I'm tying it. I'm showing you a quote from a rabbi who says, "And the King Messiah fasts and suffers for the sinners."
Right, but that's going forward to like Isaiah 53, right? I'm specifically asking about 42. I guess like my question is, it's not incorrect for someone to interpret Isaiah 42 as someone outside of Jacob, right? Given
the reason why I disagree is because when I looked at the Cyrus interpretation, and the thing is that Cyrus is called a shepherd, he's called anointed, he's never actually called servant in Isaiah, as far as I can tell. So he's treated as a servant in a sense, but he is not the servant. So this is what like some commentators have noted. He's not the servant that Isaiah is talking about. Isaiah sets us up very well in the prior chapter. The servant is Israel. And then that just continues into Isaiah 42. It's Israel. It's Israel. It's Israel. Because you're seeing the same things repeat. If you go to like Isaiah 41, what is it? It's like Isaiah 41, 8 to 10. If you read Isaiah 41, 8 to 10, then you read Isaiah 42, 1, you'll see the same things being said that were just said in the prior passage.
Right. No, so sorry. No, I understand that part. Like I guess what I'm asking you specifically is it's not wrong to interpret it one way or the other. I see you're coming with it obviously from an angle, It could even be the majority angle. I don't know. But all I'm saying is, if there are scholars who would interpret it in a different way and not put it to Jacob, then and actually, sorry, it just came up on the top of my mind as well. Matthew also references Isaiah 42, right?
Yeah, Matthew 12, 14 to 21, right. He refers to Jesus.
I guess all I'm saying is, if that's a separate topic, but if the interpretation of who the servant is can open up beyond just Jacob, then it is fair game to then kind of look at other potentials rather than simply closing the door completely and saying anybody who says it's not Jacob is wrong. Correct? Like that's basically what I'm asking.
It sounds like you're just trying to say, is it possible for me to say this is Muhammad?
No, that's not what I'm asking you to say, because I know you're not going to say it anyway. But your video specifically, when you were responding to the guy, was, it's not Muhammad, it's Israel. And it was kind of like, that's all it should be. All I'm saying is, it doesn't sound like that's all it should be.
I would need to know a specific thing, because my view on this is that it's very clearly Israel, especially when Israel is explicitly identified in the prior chapters, like my servant Israel, and then he just my servant after that. So it's like, if I said like, yeah, my employee is Than, and then I said, yeah, the employee did this, the employee did that, you wouldn't think I was talking about Matt all of a sudden. Like, if I set the stage.
Yeah, but you don't speak like Proto-Isaiah, right? So there's ancient Hebrew poetic literature, whatever, all sorts of things going on in the way the language is presented, right? So that's why there are interpretations like that. For example, I think one name, Ibn Ezra, for example, right? He would interpret this as Cyrus rather than as Jacob, right?
I mean, I gotta be careful with rabbinic interpretations, because they got very creative with the text. Like, this is something their critique done by modern scholars. Like, they just would invent elaborate things and they're not in the text. It was a common thing. And so, because they were so creative with what they were doing, I mean, like, what he's doing with Cyrus, it's just not going on what Isaiah says. He's going off his own creative interpretations and putting them in there to make it fit.
Okay. Well, so let me actually, and you know what? I can go on tangents. Actually, I don't know if you want to keep me on if I'm going on.
Well, no, I'm just curious as to like what the point is supposed to be, because you're just saying it's possible. I mean, it's possible. It's Michael Jackson. I mean, anything's possible at the end of the day.
Well, no, I mean, it's not possible it's Michael Jackson unless unless Kedar was rejoicing. I mean, yeah, maybe if he held his concert there at some point.
Well, here you keep bringing up Kedar. This is important, because Kedar is not connected to the servant at all in this chapter.
Well, here's the thing. As I said, I'm not necessarily here to make the argument of one or the other right now. A lot of things aren't fresh on the top of my head.
No, that's perfectly fine. That's perfect. Yeah. And I don't want to put that on you. I just want to say, like, this is brought up a lot, but when you see the servant song talked about, it says, behold my servant, talked about the servant, and then Isaiah breaks and he basically does an excursion here. He says, sing to the Lord a new song, his praise from the end of the earth, who goes down to the sea and all that fills it, the coastlands and their inhabitants, to the desert and its cities, lift up their voice, the villages that Kedar inhabit, let the inhabitants of Selah sing for joy, let the mountains shout for the top, let them shout from the tops of the mountains, let them give glory to the Lord. So this is like, he's talking about the servant. Then he goes and he starts saying a song, and notice what he does. If he's in Israel, he just said from the west to the east, the coastlands are to the west, and to the east is the desert, Kedar, Selah. So he's like, everyone around me, start, you in the west, you in the east, sing to the Lord. That's what this is. So the servant isn't connected to Kedar at all. It never says that.
Well, all right. I don't want to get into the whether it is or it isn't, because I feel like before we get to that, I think one thing I'm trying to at least point at is, at least several times you've said so far that you don't see coming back to the servant, but even if we get to Kedar, right, it's interpretation, right? You are saying it's not linked to the first one, but I'm sure there are rabbinical or even non-rabbinical, however you want to put it, scholars who would link all of this into one, right? And I guess that's my question. Who holds the authority here on what is or what isn't? Because if I, as a layman, right, without having that knowledge, if I just go and try to search for, all right, what is this referring to? And I find both pieces of information, right? Who is the criterion? Who is the, Mohamed of determining?
Careful now.
What is true? Yeah, of course. Of what is true, what is not.
I would say that the right way to go about this is
through
proper epistemology and methodology.
Yeah,
right.
But I'm asking your perspective, right? Because how is it that if I bring up Ibn Ezra, for example, who is a pretty significant Jewish scholar, I am being told that, well, you got to be careful of someone like that. How do I know what to be careful of?
It's not just us. Like Sarah Ronis, she wrote an article called "The Talmud" on BiblicalOdyssey.org. She says the rabbis were just creative in what they were interpreting. Like they were not interpreting the text. What they were doing is basically fan fiction for the most part.
Like I was trying to say earlier, DC. If we have an established case that shows that the Talmudic rabbis are doing creative reinterpretations that are not attested for until these later periods that are in contradiction to what you see in the Second Temple period, what does that tell you about their authoritativeness?
So if I'm understanding it correctly, you're based off a historical sort of timeline, pre-Second Temple era versus post-Second Temple.
Second Temple versus let's phrase it this way: prior to the destruction. So Second Temple prior to the destruction, right?
Right.
And then post-Temple destruction into the rabbinic period.
Okay. So if it is the case in that, obviously, look, I'm taking your words for it right now because
of course.
I've done but let's say if this is the trend we're seeing, where post temple destruction, we are seeing a slew of rabbis, or even one or several, who are reinterpreting. And let's stick to Isaiah 42, right? I'm sure there are other universal trends that were happening within rabbinical interpretation. But if we talk about specifically Isaiah 42 or how it's interpreted or whatnot, I guess, actually enlighten me, because I don't know too much about it. What is the big?
One big one is just how they interpreted Daniel 7.
But what was the cause behind it? So I'm just asking questions. Sorry.
No, it's fine, totally fine. Like I said, we have a video coming out on this. But a really big one is that there is a proto. Yeah, that's a good book on this. There is a pre-Nicene view of God that viewed him as relationally plural. So there were multiple Yahweh figures, but they were still monotheistic, right? They still believed in one Yahweh, but there were multiple defined figures called that they knew as Yahweh. And this is attested throughout I would say at the Hebrew Bible in the Second Temple period. You have people like Philo talking about this. The Palestinian Targums attest to this, all sorts of stuff. And then it's not until the rabbinic period where you see the anathematization happen of this idea. It's called the two powers in heaven. And after this anathematization happens, then you see in the Talmudic literature that the rabbis are reinterpreting passages like Daniel 7, where they see the Son of Man coming with the clouds of heaven. And then they say, well, this isn't two divine figures. It's actually just one divine figure. And he's switching between thrones for judgment and mercy and blah, blah. You get the point, right?
Here's another one I want to just show what rabbis did. So in Genesis 22, when Abraham offers up Isaac, what the rabbi said is, if you go right to verse 23:1, it said, Sarah lived 127 years. These were the years of the life of Sarah. The rabbi said, and I'm not making this up, they said Sarah died from the stress because she saw Isaac about to be killed up there. It caused her to die. Now, there's nothing in this chapter that says that. They just saw, well, it records the death of Sarah right after this. that must mean that's the year she died, because she saw her husband taking her son up there, and well, she was had a heart attack, but she did. So that's like a creative thing the rabbis did. It's creative, but it's just not taught in the text.
Oh, I see. Okay. So let's just say there was more freedom in interpretation post temple destruction.
Yeah, there certainly was.
Sounds like your rabbis were pretty westernized, huh?
They were doing something wild, is all I can say.
They were doing something wild.
You know, that's why a lot of modern scholars, like the one I cited, like Sarah Ronis, she'll say like they were just being creative. They were not interested in like trying to do proper exegesis of the text. She says it demonstrates that the rabbis' diversity, creativity, and commitment to a deep exploration of both the written Torah and the oral Torah as it's continued to develop over the period of late antiquity. So that they were committed to being creative with it. So when I catch Christians appealing to rabbis, I'm always like, stop, don't, no, that's not what we do. These are not the sources to go to. It's like trying to learn about Norse mythology from reading Marvel comics.
Right. Okay. All right. That's some, I won't say new information, but it's something I didn't necessarily look too much into before, but it is a point I've heard Christians make about post-temple versus pre-temple interpretation. So it's something
definitely read Daniel Boyarin's work. He's a really respected, good scholar on this topic.
Yeah, the idea of God changed because of a lot of those reasons. So the plurality of Yahweh went away, and they became more Unitarian, surprisingly. So it's again, rabbis had to get creative with how they interpreted the Torah to get that stuff out of there.
All right. Well, I don't
listen, man. We're not gonna keep you if you want to go. We appreciate you coming. We appreciate your humility and honesty, and we're not gonna like grill you on why you should convert right now, like or anything. But I like you're keeping an open mind. I think you're definitely being a very respectful and nice person here.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, look, my whole thing is discourse should move forward, and quite honestly, based. I don't want to bring, if everything's going nice and rosy, I don't want to ruin your your mood. But I personally felt like that's not what was happening with the video I had to respond to for yours with that whole cousin marriage video that you made. I just felt like I was like, man, this is not, I will
here, let me tell you, I will personally apologize if we were disrespectful. I don't remember what we said, but if we said something disrespectful, I hereby publicly apologize and recant whatever I said that was disrespectful.
All right. No, I appreciate, and I definitely appreciate that. And I honestly felt that there was some element of that in you, which is why I actually came in here. I don't go on live streams. This is probably my first one, I'll be honest. But I do appreciate that. And personally, it was just, anyway, we can go more into that. But honestly, like, I feel like a lot of the unnecessary arguments, debates that are happening nowadays could just be resolved with conversations like this. But it's just not happening anymore. It doesn't happen, and it doesn't bring the views, so people don't do it. That's why.
Well,
man, I love these conversations.
We're trying. That's why we started doing the call-in streams. We want to have conversations, and so we're not talking past people more like what you like basically what you just said. It's better to just talk to people.
All right. Well, no, I appreciate that. I'll be honest. I mean, there were elements where I could have tried to, let's say, cement my position further, but I just don't think, one, I have everything ready in my head to do that, but also secondly, why ruin a good conversation?
You're muted, Mike.
Yeah, you're muted.
Well, I appreciate that, but we'll let you go to take care of your family. We appreciate you coming. If you want to come back to ask questions in another call-in stream, don't hesitate.
Of course, definitely. Thank you very much. All right.
Later, brother.
Man.
Yep. Bye.
Cool. I have no clue what we even said in that cousin marriage video.
I don't remember either.
If we were disrespectful, I apologize. We may have just been having fun and went too far. But I mean,
yeah, sometimes it's really easy to kind of just, you get so used to the way other Dawa people are. And yeah,
Yeah, I can think of a few. Did Mo steal Solomon's wife like he stole Zainab? Yes. That's what I think of when it's Song of Solomon, when the bride is ascribing the lover. It's like, did Muhammad just come in and take Solomon's bride? What is Children of Yomama battle stole their scriptures. This is true. This is true. The Battle of Yomama. Did you know about the Battle of Yomama?
No, I've never.
That's what it's called, the Battle of Yomama, when Aisha led an army against Ali. Do you have a reading list? If not, would you make one? It's on the website. It's go to inspiringphilosophy.com. Look for our recommended readings. You'll get that. Doesn't a word for donkey sound like Muhammad? I don't know. That'd be funny if it did. It is believed that the royal we, as we know it, was created by Richard II. He was into giving himself titles and addressing the courtly language. Yeah, I've heard this theory before, and my only thing is that I think the royal we just sort of comes out of natural leaders. Like if you're the leader of a tribe in like the ancient hunter-gatherer world, you as the chief could be like, speaking on behalf of the tribe, you'd be like, well, we hunt here. We live here. So the royal we, here's the thing. The royal we is a leader speaking on behalf of his people or his court, his cabinet. Therefore, when you see it in the Quran, and Allah doesn't explain it, and we're told by Muslim apologists, well, the royal we is the plural of majesty. Okay, who is Allah speaking on behalf of? Because when a king uses it, he's speaking on behalf of his people. It's like, we the people, or we are going to do this. We are going to, set this museum up, that kind of thing. Okay. If that's what's happening in the Quran, then Allah is speaking on behalf of somebody, some group of beings. Who are they? It's a weird argument, and Muslims should be concerned about that because there's no way to explain it. And plus it shows that if they're just saying a plural of majesty is how you explain that, well, then they're just saying it's better to be a plural being like the Trinity. Interesting. This guy is a loser. He says he likes Than. What?
Yeah.
All right. Let's in the Quran, two sheep herders come into Dawood's courtyard and he judges them. Then Dawood prays to be forgiven for a sin. No information, no Nathan. I don't know what this is in reference to. Might as well claim Muhammad is the beloved disciple. Very true. He definitely is. Muhammad is in the Bible, Revelation 19:20. Very rude. Very rude. All right, let's bring in our next guest. Al Awazi. Is that how you say your name? You got to unmute yourself. Yep, there you go. Yeah. How you doing? You just muted yourself now. You got to unmute yourself because you muted yourself. Still there, man?
I'm going to argue.
Are you there?
Hello.
Marco. Marco. He's not saying polo. Is he all right?
If you think Muhammad is not in the Bible, stay silent. Oh, you see?
All right, man. We'll pull you back up if you get your mic figured out, but we're gonna bring another guest in here. All right, the Line of Truth. Are you there?
How's it going?
How's it going, man? Are you a Muslim?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. Can you show us where Muhammad is in the Bible?
Yeah. There's we can I think Daniel 7 chapter 13 or verse 13.
7:13.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Let Than, did you hear that?
I did.
All right, we're gonna go to Daniel 7:13, everybody. 7:13. Let's pull this up. Okay, and
I just thought it was an interesting conversation what you had yesterday with the Orthodox Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
So
it was definitely something.
So no, I just thought, yeah, I mean, it was a little too edgy for my liking, but I just wanted to just see what were you guys talking about in this in this verse or in this chapter?
Yeah, so it says, I saw in the night visions, and behold, with the clouds of heaven, there came one like a son of man. And he came to the Ancient of Days and was presented before him. And to him was given dominion and glory and a kingdom that all peoples, nations, languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom one that shall not be destroyed. Do you think this is talking about Muhammad?
Well, I think the language of the Greeks and the ancient Bible, it's a little not in the same taste for us Muslims, but I think.
Well, first of all, this isn't in Greek, though. Just to be clear, the Book of Daniel is written in Hebrew and Aramaic.
It's the translation. The translation. The translation is giving the same taste. But just what really interested me was the glory, the kingdom for all people, nations, and languages. And just it seems to me that it's talking about the Prophet Muhammad.
Wait,
Jesus is sent to the lost sheep of Israel, so it just couldn't be Jesus. What could it be?
When you say you're talking about the Greek translation of this text, are you talking about the Septuagint translation?
I have no idea. I'm not that sophisticated.
Don't worry about that. That's not the issue. Let's
well, there is a really important thing. Okay, just really quickly, because there is something called the Old Greek translation of this passage where it says that the Son of Man comes as the Ancient of Days.
Okay.
And if you're talking about the Greek translation there, that means that you think Muhammad is coming as Allah.
Yeah, I understand. This is not what I'm saying.
Okay.
So maybe we can put this translation for now on the side. But I'm interested to listen to both of you, what you have to say.
Okay. Than, do you want to explain why this is a divine figure, the Son of Man?
Yeah. So notice that there are two figures here, right? There is the one like a son of man. The better translation is like one like a human one, and then the Ancient of Days. Yes. But notice what's happening is the Son of Man, the one like the Son of Man, is coming with the clouds of heaven, right? And if you look throughout the Old Testament, there are about 70 passages that all only apply to Yahweh, where Yahweh is the one that comes with the clouds. Like coming with the clouds is a divine prerogative, right? So you have two figures, one like a human, one like a human being who comes with the clouds, which means only Yahweh can do that, who approaches the Ancient of Days. And if you keep on reading on, there's shared glory, dominion, all this other stuff. And there's passages in the Old Testament that also tell us that Yahweh doesn't share his glory with anybody.
Here's also something kind of interesting in this passage that was pointed out to me by Robert Bowman Jr. So so he notes, in the kingdom and the greatness of the kingdoms under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High. So here's the thing: the Son of Man was given the kingdom. Okay, so the kingdom is his, right? The kingdom is the Son of Man's, right?
Okay.
All right. And then it says, now it's given to the people of the Most High. His kingdom shall be an everlasting one. So the most likely reference here is the Most High. In other words, the author of Daniel is basically trying to point out the Son of Man is not only just sharing attributes with the Ancient of Days, he's also sharing the title of the Most High, because the Son of Man was given a kingdom. And here we're seeing that it's given to the people of the saints of the Most High. And then he says, his kingdom shall be an everlasting one. So the Most High's kingdom, who is also the Son of Man.
I understand. The way I read the dominion and the kingdom into it is that the basically the message and the nation that he leads, they are perpetual. That's what I see. Perpetual, as in they're growing, and then they're made for all time. As in there is no more. It's like until the time comes for everybody to go back to the Ancient of Days. That's how I see it. Because first of all, you have him going to that like Son of Man, going to the Ancient of Days, okay, and then he's presented before him. Okay, and then he was giving something. He was given something. He is not being him. He's not mirroring him. None of that. He was given, some of the attributes or some of the miracles, just given a green light and coming down, and the domain of which he operates in is people from all languages and all nations. This is where he lives. This is the domain. Speaking of the cloud part that you were talking about, well, because he is coming from he's coming from Allah, from the Ancient of Days. So he's using that vehicle, that tool here, to show how important this person is or how important their message is. Because you cannot say, because it's mentioned 70 times, the cloud is only for God, for Allah, for Yahweh, then number 71 cannot be for someone that God is sending. Also, just like how you guys were talking about yesterday, wasn't it that a lot of scholars said Son of Man can be a third person? I know it was a different passage, but it's a third person here. So in the end of the day, we know that Son of Man here.
Hold up.
No,
you're
not the Ancient of Days.
You're confusing. There's a minor scholarly opinion that when Jesus talks about the Son of Man, he's talking about another figure. That doesn't make sense in the context, and those scholars know it. They think the Gospels identify Jesus as the Son of Man, but they think maybe the historical Jesus, there's like some earlier layer spoke about the Son of Man as a third person. So that's nothing to do with this passage. In this passage, there are two divine figures, the Ancient of Days and the Son of Man. So then our question to you is, how could this be Muhammad if it's a divine figure?
Well, I'm not saying I don't see it as a divine figure. I don't see how he came to it as a divine figure. He is given something. He is given something by the divine figure. So how is he a divine figure?
Because he comes with the clouds of heaven. That's only something Yahweh does.
That's a vehicle. That's a wording for vehicle. That's it. He is given. If I'm given, I give you.
So
shawarma.
Hey, can you show me one place in the Bible where this idea of divine prerogative is broken because there's somebody so important that the divine prerogatives break? Otherwise what you're doing is special pleading.
I'll be lying if I know somewhere else in the Bible.
You're not going to find one, my friend.
Well, I'm just saying that this is the only point I'm making here. The point I'm making here, this Son of Man is given something. And you, on the other side, you tell me because he's riding a cloud, he is the Ancient of Days, even though he was just at the Ancient of Days. You see what I'm trying to say here?
We're not saying we're not saying he's the Ancient of Days. We're saying he is also Yahweh. He's also a divine person of Yahweh. The Ancient of Days, we would say, represents the Father. But what we're saying is there's one God and there are two divine persons here,
right?
Which aligns with Christian Trinitarian theology, is what we're pointing out.
And like Mike pointed out, when you keep reading, the Son of Man is also given the title of the Most High, which is only a title for God.
Okay. Can we look at the most high bit, please?
Let me scroll down for you. Sure. Yeah. Yes, so once again, what do we see here? We see the Son of Man is given the kingdom, everlasting dominion. We go to the end of the chapter. So there's more going on, dealing with the beast, all that kind of stuff, the Antichrist, whatever you want to call it. And the kingdom and dominion, the one of the Son of Man, and the greatness of the kingdoms under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High. So now the kingdom is being given. Who had the kingdom prior? It was the Son of Man. And now the Son of Man is giving the kingdom to the people of the saints of the Most High. His kingdom shall be an everlasting one. Whose kingdom? The Most High, the one who just gave the saints the kingdom. So the Son of Man is also the Most High.
I the way I'm looking at it, that this kingdom belonged only to the Ancient of Days. It was just given, or like he was given a green light to the Son of Man to get to spread that kingdom. This is how I read it. Because when you say his kingdom shall be an everlasting kingdom, right? It shows that they're talking about the message that came, and then how it's everlasting, and it represents the message that was sent from the Father, which is the
two
Ancient
problems. Two problems. One, it doesn't mention message. It's just about kingdom. So it's not talking about message in here. And second, the Ancient of Days has given the kingdom to the Son of Man, and then the Son of Man gives it to the people. So he is the Most High in this section now because the kingdom is already in his hands. He gives it to who he pleases now.
It's also a fair point. I mean, the way I read it is he's given, so it's not his. But the fair point that you make here is, hence, the Most High here could be a problem for me personally.
So, how is this Muhammad though? I mean, this sounds like this is so contradictory to Islamic theology. How could this be Islam or Muhammad? I mean, like, it's fine if you say, okay, he's not in there, and you want to look at another passage. But I mean, this contradicts Islam in so many ways.
Well, I've told you the elements in it that don't contradict Islam. It's very clear for me. Is that there is an ascension to God, Isra and Mi'raj, right? And then that's number one. Number two, the kingdom for all people of all races, of all nationalities and languages. This is Prophet Muhammad for me here.
For you, is the passage saying that, or is that just the way you want to?
Well, it's not just for me. This is what we learn. This is what we know about Islam. It's for everybody.
We understand that, but why would any rational person accept this without presupposing Islam?
Without presupposing Islam? Well, I'm not sure how to say this. The only way that I'm supposing this is because the keyword here, which is for all nations and for all languages. So then this is why I'm saying it could be Prophet Muhammad. But besides that, we have no other.
Jesus says that the gospel is supposed to be preached to all nations and all languages.
Yeah, he actually even refers back to Daniel 7 in Matthew 28, and he basically is referring to this whole passage here. If you go to Matthew 28, let me just show you.
Okay.
So Jesus says after the resurrection, he gives a great commission. And look, remember the Son of Man was given authority. He says, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe everything I commanded you. So he's alluding back to that passage. He's saying he's the Son of Man here.
Okay, yeah, no, I mean, personally, even in Mark 8:38, I think he is talking also about the Messiah, which is himself. I'm thinking there's a different Son of Man. I think there's a different Son of Man in Daniel 7. That's what I'm thinking. It's a different Son of Man.
Yeah,
so
this is a messianic read. I take a reading.
Yeah, my question is Jesus wrong when he calls himself the Son of Man, for example, in Mark 8?
Personally, I don't think so. Personally, I feel like it's talking about the Messiah. Just personally.
Well, then he's the Messiah, though. Then he's referring. So if he's saying he's the Messiah and that he's the Son of Man, then Jesus is claiming to be that divine figure of Daniel 7. Therefore, it can't be about Muhammad, or either.
So I explained that there is more than one Son of Man. I already said it's a different Son of Man here, because I think Son of Man is the title for prophets or like important people that fear God. Because you have, tell me.
Yeah, there are, like Ezekiel calls himself a Son of Man. Like that's
Enoch.
Yeah. But I mean, like, there is, when it comes to after Daniel's written, the Jewish literature now starts talking about the Son of Man. There's supposed to be this divine figure who is the Son of Man, who's coming, who's going to be the Messiah. There's never anyone else prophesied in the Bible about some Son of Man who's supposed to come, who's just not going to be a divine figure. Even scholars that thought Jesus was talking about another figure as a Son of Man think he's a divine figure. It doesn't even align with Islam.
Yeah, I remember this because yesterday you said you guys were talking about Bart Ehrman, and then you guys said if it's not the Messiah, then it's an angelic figure. I understand this part, but also it just could be a holy figure, right? So like a prophet. That's what I'm trying to say.
It's got to be a divine figure. It cannot be. It's got to be some heavenly angel, like a divine angel. I mean, it depends on what you mean by divine. Divine is a loose word, but it can't be just a prophet. The way the New Testament talks about the Son of Man, it's Jesus.
You don't see prophet as divine, like in its looser in a looser sense.
Yeah. No, and if you look at actually somebody just super chat. That's funny. Ryan, you're so funny. Somebody just super chatted something that I wanted to bring up.
Elion,
when you look at the Aramaic and the Hebrew, you actually notice that once the Son of Man is introduced, it uses Elion, which is divine language.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing. Going back to the main point about the Son of Man, once Daniel 7 comes on the scene, and then you get to the New Testament, the Son of Man becomes a title for a divine figure. It now takes on that new meaning because of this prophecy, and it's never in the New Testament referred to as just some regular old prophet. It's got to be a divine figure after the prophecy in Daniel 7 comes.
Maybe a last prophet?
No, if it's a last prophet that's divine and shares God's glory.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, isn't glory here supposed to be like the praise, like how you guys were talking about yesterday? I think it's praise.
This is God's glory that is not shared with anybody.
Well,
that's the thing. That's the thing. If Muhammad, go ahead. Sorry, I'm sorry interrupting you. Go ahead.
No. You please. I said I don't have anything to add in this within this part.
That's fine, man. That's fine, man. No. We're glad you're here and asking questions. You're being very nice and humble. So we're not gonna like hound you on anything. If you're good, we're good. But I mean, just consider these things we're saying. Jesus, when he came, he claimed to be the Son of Man, a divine figure that rides the clouds. He didn't claim to be a mere prophet. He claimed that he is the Most High. He claimed to be Yahweh, basically, when he called himself the Son of Man. And then he said he's going to die, resurrect to atone for sins. He didn't claim there's going to be another messenger after me named Muhammad or Ahmed. He claimed that he was the one who was going to take away your sins. And that's a very strong claim. So if that's true, then Islam is false. And then that's why we pray for your soul, because we don't want to see you separated from God because you rejected his son.
But there are other sections that say that he claims he's a prophet.
Yeah, absolutely. Jesus is a prophet, 100% in Christianity. He is a prophet. Yep. He is a servant. He is a king. He is a priest. He is Messiah. He is God.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, man.
All right. And I'll come at some other time. Thank you.
Awesome. We'll hope to talk to you again sometime.
Bye-bye. Thank you.